Hey there! Did you know that in Papua New Guinea, even though it's one of the world's fastest growing economies, 30% of the population live in absolute poverty? That's living below the international poverty line of 1.25 US dollars per day. The United Nations defines absolute poverty as the inability to have choices and opportunities and calls it a violation of human dignity. So, not only is 30% of the population living in absolute poverty, our dependency rate is 67.1%. That's more than half the population dependent on the remaining working population. According to the International Labour Organization, about 19% of children work to supplement income for the family. This is all happening whilst economic uncertainties and limited private sector development make it harder for youth to find formal employment. You see, approximately 80,000 young people leave school every year, but only 10,000 people enter the formal labor market per year. A mere 7.8% of students eventually finish grade 12, and only 0.7% of the population obtain a university-level education. Graduates are likely to find employment in the private sector, but few children and youth actually have the chance to complete their education. According to the World Bank, in Papua New Guinea, many young people between the ages of 16 and 29 are leaving school without the necessary skills or experience for work. Many remain unemployed or they become underemployed in the informal economy. This is linked with lower wages, poor working conditions, and career prospects. What's more, Papua New Guinea suffers from a large urban youth bulge, where young people in rural areas move to towns in search for better education and employment opportunities. According to the World Bank, in the capital, Port Moresby, 70% of the population is under 29 and 40,000 of these young people are unemployed. Being faced with few job opportunities naturally leads to the feeling of disillusionment, that lack of belief in the mere possibility to participate in the country's widespread development. This only serves to intensify the growing inequality and instability of society and social conflict. On top of this, the lack of widespread acknowledgement and celebration of national role models and champions is detrimental to the motivation in the youth to participate in the growing economy, and this is unacceptable. Let me elaborate with my story. Born and raised in Papua New Guinea, even though I got my dad's skin color, I still found myself not identifying with white people. I almost saw them as another species. Their lives were the stuff of movies, fairy tales, something other. And even when I was dropped into this other world and given the time and opportunity to try my own hand at making it, it still felt like I was playing a role in some fairy tale. In that time, internet connectivity wasn't fully accessible to the general public. The cost of staying in contact was exorbitant, let alone the daunting task of commiserating the two different cultures and lifestyles. All of this eventually led me to being completely cut off. I had no idea that there were other Papua New Guineans with the same opportunities and less who were making it. These were serious role models that once I finally did become aware of, completely changed my perspective. No longer was a successful life something of fairy tales. It was something real and tangible. I could finally relate and believe in my own agency. Looking back, I can see that this attitude of feeling beneath white people stemmed from a reflection of what I observed of my extended family, neighbors, and in general people I pass in the street. This ingrained thought process stemming from our colonial era that dichotomized people, enforcing this idea of civilized versus savage. And when one suffers from a long history of oppression, one comes to feel worthless. And when you believe you can't, you won't.
Now.
We need to challenge this malicious single story. Learn from Nigerian novelist Chimamanda Adichie, who warns that if we hear a single story from a place, we risk critical misunderstanding. In this case, the story of disillusion and lack of hope that's deteriorating quality of life. What can we do about it? Raise awareness of the many other stories out there with a youth empowerment TV talk show, BeBoldPNG. BeBoldPNG stands for Bringing Education and Building Opportunities for Leadership and Development in Papua New Guinea. With this show, we can shine light on the many people who have made it through despite the circumstances, being bold, showing resilience, and breaking through. The BeBoldPNG show can showcase young entrepreneurs making successful jobs for themselves, school dropouts who pushed through the hardships, got focused, and accomplished living security, and the many networks and opportunities that are available for our youth.
We've been joining Tropical Gem. Time we have been joining Tropical Gem, we have been got something. Time we've been joining Tropical Gem now. We've been got the mindset. We block the line now. The mindset that's all. And we give him the thing lo me. Also, we make him stop lo me.
Because like this wonderful woman says, many stories matter. If you want to get a better idea of what the BeBoldPNG show will look like, check out the BeBold show in Ghana, who've created a brilliant template for us to follow in PNG. Now, help us launch BeBoldPNG. Share this story and help make a difference.